everyone. I know you can't see me, but I'm driving and it's dark anyway, so it's been a minute, so I figured I should come on and make a video because there's been a lot going on, and I don't know. So when I first started this channel, I think I was doing tithing or something like that. It was just one of those things, more for me to chronicle my stuff. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily for everybody. I tend to be a very private person. I don't like to put myself out there, you know. I mean, social anxiety is real. Excuse me. I don't broadcast to my friends, my close friends, or my family, or anything like that. I don't do that. You know, nobody knows that I'm doing this. If they by chance come across it, then great. But I mean, it's just what I do. But the Lord has been dealing with me more to really put myself out there. And when I started my tea business, that was me really like taking a leap of faith in that too, because I don't want to look at it as a failure, but I mean, it wasn't a success. But as I asked the Lord, why did he put me through this, you know? And the more things happen, the more I see as to why, because I gained a lot of knowledge. It was something that I looked into. It prepared me for diabetes for myself. It prepared me for how to look at my thyroid and how to look at food, and it started me on my journey of health and healing before this, because with the smoking was very hard. That was probably one of the biggest things I have ever done in my entire life, and to stop doing that is amazing. But if I hadn't done that, then I probably wouldn't be as far as I am now into my journey. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been prepared, because it was something that I studied. I really looked into it, as far as even herbs for tea making and this and that, and what they do and their properties and that kind of stuff. Like, I was able to look into that to know how to kind of self-heal and self-medicate. All in all, besides fasting. I mean, fasting is obviously always going to be your best bet, you know, fasting. But there was a time period where I was there and I was fasting, but it still wasn't giving me the results that I needed. As far as physically, I mean, spiritually, it was doing great, but I wasn't fasting in a way for healing. I was just fasting for Christ. And so I had to learn how to utilize this tool for my good as well, you know, in the sense that health-wise, because it's always for my good. And so the Lord's really just been dealing with me, you know, about kind of branching out again and not being shy, not worrying about what the world thinks, because at the end of the day, this is what my purpose is, you know. So when I started to stop smoking, I really got into like gardening and trying to grow my own food and vegetables and stuff like that. And I've had some wins, and I've had many fails with this. First of all, this is Arizona, and Arizona is not the easiest place to grow anything, because it's so hot. Last summer I started my garden, and then the sun fried it. Like, I didn't get a single anything. I have never had a single tomato. I cannot grow a cucumber. I love cucumbers. I cannot grow a single freaking cucumber. I can plant a cucumber and it turns out to be a pumpkin. I have no idea why. I know they cross-pollinate, but I have no idea. So, you know, I mean, but I still never gave up. I never gave up on it. It was something that, it was just fun. And I'm not just like, okay, we'll plant this at this time. No, I'm just going to plant it and see how it goes. So, and I like it. And lettuce. I've grown a whole lot of lettuce. I finally got my chickens. My chickens are producing a bunch of eggs. So, and this is the first year I had this tomato plant. Okay, so I had planted this tomato plant when the Lord really started working with me this year. This will be the third year, I think, that I've really had a garden, and I'm trying to do it like big. It's just a containers. I'm not doing anything in the ground. And actually utilize my abundance and start cooking from scratch. Like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And so I had this tomato plant in this pot, and we started to get a frost, a real bad frost too, that a couple nights during the winter, right? I had planted this tomato plant, I don't know, September, October, I don't really know. I probably wasn't supposed to plant it at that time, but it was still nice weather, so I just did it. And so it grew, but there was no fruit. It was just the tomato plant. So I didn't worry about it. I just let it sit there because I was like, all right, it's not going to do anything. So I'll replant it or take care of the pot once the spring was coming, so around now or a couple weeks ago when the weather started to get nice. So I did that, and when I separated the plant, it had froze and thawed and froze and thawed. But when I started to separate the plant, there was flowers on it. And I was like, I didn't overwinter. I didn't do nothing. Like, I did not touch this plant. And I was like, okay, so it's flowering. I'm not going to just pull it out and kill it. It would have been compost. I separated it into like 4 or 5 different pots because there was a lot of plants in this pot. And I now have my first 4 plants, I believe, that are growing tomatoes. And I mean like huge tomatoes, not even just small little, like on a plant that I was going to just throw away. I don't really know what that means. It was like, I'm just, thank you, Jesus, like if this is the time when you really want me to officially get involved and really get down to the nitty gritty. Before, it was just a hobby to keep my hands busy, so I wasn't smoking. But as I started to really get into it, I actually enjoyed it. To know that you can go to the garden and pick your stuff. What I was doing with it was like, I grew a lot of peas. Peas are something that are successful. They're easy, set it and forget it type of a plant. I could go pick a bunch of them off. I don't like peas, so I didn't really do much with them. But I would feed them to the chickens. It's good, healthy greens and chickens love them. They would eat them, and I'd be good. And I wouldn't have to worry about it. I would pick off the plant, and it was ready to go, stuff like that. Lettuce, I give them lettuce too. And microgreens, like anything that I can grow, I usually end up giving to the chickens. But my husband was like, so are we going to ever eat anything that comes out of the garden? And I was like, I would like to, but I haven't gotten to that point yet, where I'm like, okay, well, I have the time to sit there and process all this stuff. Like, I would wash my lettuce and stuff and dry it, spin it, put it in the fridge. Like, I'm gonna make a big old salad. I did that like twice. The rest of the lettuce ended up going bad, so I just gave it to the chickens. Stuff like that, where I have to be thankful for it and learn how to do it. If I really want to do it, and this is my calling, my kingdom calling, then I need to be able to do it, provide for my neighborhood. So my house is falling apart, and anytime I get uncomfortable, is when I know I'm in a season of transition. Especially when you're at work. I was at work, I was uncomfortable, I started to get antsy and not wanting to be there. That's when you're in a period of transition, and you have to find other means. And the Lord will guide you if you let Him. Because I could apply for 1 million jobs, and out of 1 million jobs, I got 2 callbacks, and then I got the one job that I wanted. Everything worked out and aligned, and I love it. I love it. It was a good change. It was necessary. And am I just waiting on the Lord to tell me my next steps? Absolutely. Because if his is where he wants me to stay, then fine. But he knows what I need. He will supply that for me. But just like my house, when I first went into my house, I loved this house. It was big enough. It was perfect for everybody. We had enough space. We weren't on top of each other. We had our pool. I had my yard. We could get our dogs. We weren't worried about somebody yelling because my kids were running too loud and they were on the bottom of us on the first floor. It wasn't like that. It was fine. But now, I have so many people and things are just breaking down, I see I have termites. My carport is going to be, and I'm just renting this house. The carport looks like it's going to fall any day. I think I have termites, which is probably part of the reason why the carport is falling. And then I have we've always had drain issues to where they'll get clogged and and it turned out we didn't have a clean out or whatever. So they had to come and put one in because it's an older house, but it was just recently remodeled, but it's just completely falling apart. And I have a bird's nest somewhere inside the house. And it's just a whole nonsense, and I'm starting to get uncomfortable, and uneasy, and I don't even want to be there anymore. I'm happy with being someplace. I love the people that are in the house. I don't mind the cooking and the cleaning, and I'm the only one doing it. I don't mind it. I don't mind doing that, but we have to understand that when we have to start making moves. So I've just been praying and praying and praying. What is my next step? What do I need to do? Where do we need to go? I know I might need to call the landlord or call the maintenance man. Yesterday, the microwave set on fire, I don't know. And I feel like all is intertwined because the wiring in the kitchen, I haven't had a light in my kitchen in almost 2 years. So they said they would come and fix it, but we couldn't figure it out ourselves just to change the light bulb. You can't just change the light bulb. It's not just the light bulb. It's the whole circuiting and what I don't really know. But there has not been a light, because the light will turn on and then it just shorts out and switches, and there's something short circuiting. And when the microwave almost caught on fire yesterday, it burned a hole completely through the little spinner thingy. So they're going to come replace the microwave, but it just doesn't sit right with me. Something else is wrong. There's a bigger problem, because then my drain's backed up. And this morning I went out to do my laundry. My laundry room is outside and it's downpouring. It's been downpouring for 2 days now. Easter, I get it. It's always a somber day. And I went to go get my laundry like I always do, but since it was raining, I'm not going to let my dogs out. I didn't let my dogs out because they're just going to track back in. And I was like, okay, so I'll just go out and get it real quick. But it's still dark. So I go turn the light on like I usually do, and this cat jumped down and scratched me. I was bleeding. So of course I'm freaking out, and it hurt, and it was cold. I'm like, oh, and he scared me. So I'm screaming. My dogs didn't say a word. Oh man, I was like, the one time I don't let these freaking dogs out. And so I dealt with that. It's just, you get that feeling, and then I'm uneasy sleeping. You get that feeling like you're just not wanted or need to be there anymore. My time is up. So I know that that's exactly what's happening, because that's how the Lord speaks to me. That's how I go through these periods of transition and the dreams that I have and this and that. But as far as knowing what my next steps are, we've already been looking for a new house. We already know we want to buy one. We're working on our credit. I don't know if I need to pull the trigger now and try to run it again to see if we qualify for something. I thought I needed another job, but I don't know. As of right now, I have to sit in a place of thanks. Okay, that's the only way. Thankful that I have this. Even when I'm uneasy at my job, I know, okay, but I still have a job. I still have income. I still have insurance for me and my family. So it's going to be okay. The world is not coming to an end because I'm unhappy for the moment. In this season, my change is coming. I just have to let it happen. It's not in my time. It's in God's time. So right now, I know, the Lord knows, I am borderline miserable. So but I'm still going to keep pushing. I'm still going to keep cleaning. I'm still going to be thankful. I'm still going to be cooking. I'm still going to take on more projects. I'm still growing and planting. And if I have to feed this community first before I'm able to leave it, then so be it. If that's what the Lord wants me to do, then that's what I'm going to do. But that doesn't mean that it's easy. And that doesn't mean I don't pray for something else. That means doesn't mean I don't pray for change, that I don't pray for him to just pick me up and take us out of here. So I want to be in a moving truck, I envision myself moving my stuff peacefully, a peaceful move, a stress-free move, I don't have to be rushed to get out of somewhere. And I want to be in with good standing, because I've been to this house for four, going on 5 years now. Yeah, so it's now, 3 going on 4 years now. So it's now at the point where we have a decent relationship with our landlord, but we need to figure something else out. And at this point, the only person that's going to make a way is the Lord, because I need some serious breakthrough. But this video is long enough. I hope you guys have a good day. I will be back with part 2 throughout the week, because the gardening is something that I am supposed to be doing. I have to learn how to make some sourdough bread, guys. I have never made sourdough in my entire life. I had just started making our own bread, and bagels and stuff like that. I'm not a pro, but it's decent. It's edible. But now I'm going to take on sourdough and making my own sourdough starter. Oh my goodness. So I will be chronicling this journey. I hope everybody has a blessed day. Bye.